told you look like an angel, you probably took that as a compliment. But a closer look at the Bible reveals that maybe you should have felt insulted. Today, there's a stereotypical look that most angels have when shown in works of art or popular culture. Generally, angels are depicted as beautiful, pale-skinned humans with wings, wearing white robes, carrying a harp, and sporting a halo. But this look is far from the actual version of angels described in the Bible. Biblical angels were generally strange, frightening creatures, ranging from human lion, ox, eagle hybrids to floating wheels with eyes. Biblical angels struck fear into the hearts of anyone who witnessed them. One of the most vivid descriptions of angels in the Bible comes from the prophet Ezekiel's inaugural vision. He describes two main types of angels. The first are the cherubim, which is plural, the singular is cherub. Today, cherubs are typically depicted as chubby little babies, but the Bible disagrees. According to Ezekiel's vision, every cherub had the face of a human being, and on the right side each had the face of a lion, and on the left the face of an ox. Each also had the face of an eagle. If the combined faces of 4 different species aren't frightening enough, cherubs also have 2 sets of wings, one for flight and the other to conceal their bodies. Additionally, per medium, cherubs have straight legs and shiny bull hooves. Weird, right? But the second type of angel described in Ezekiel 1 is even more bizarre. Meet the Ophanim. According to Medium, Ophanim comes from the Hebrew word for wheels. It's a fitting name because Ezekiel's vision suggests that some of God's angels are actually floating eye-covered wheels that sparkle like jewels. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. Their rims were high and awesome, and all 4 rims were full of eyes all around. Then there are the seraphim, which are described in the book of Isaiah as floating around God's throne singing his praises. I saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on a throne. Above him were seraphim, each with 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying. If you're keeping count, that means that the seraphim have 1 more set of wings than the cherubim, but lack the extra faces. There is one other type of angel that's more human-looking though, which are God's messenger angels. Per Blue Letter Bible, the angels that God chose to deliver his messages could take a variety of corporeal forms. Most commonly, they would appear nearly identical to a human male. This is true for the warrior archangel Michael, who first appears in the book of Daniel. It likewise applies to the archangel Gabriel, who informed Mary that she would give birth to Jesus. In fact, this might give you the impression that the angels you see in popular culture are accurate depictions of angels as they're described in the New Testament, but not so fast. Similarly, the classic depiction of cherubim as flying babies was adopted from an ancient Italian art of carving winged babies into child sarcophagi. More modern still is the idea of angels playing the harp, which was popularized by John Milton in his 1667 epic Paradise Lost. And they said you couldn't reinvent the wheel.
The book of the prophet Ezekiel. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright. And out of the fire went forth lightning. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl. And they 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them 4. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whithersoever the Spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go. And the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels.
But the second type of angel described in Ezekiel 1 is even more bizarre. Meet the Ophanim. According to Medium, Ophanim comes from the Hebrew word for wheels. It's a fitting name because Ezekiel's vision suggests that some of God's angels are actually floating eye-covered wheels that sparkle like jewels. Each appeared to be made like a wheel intersecting a wheel. Their rims were high and awesome, and all four rims were full of eyes all around.
And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the colour of the terrible crystal stretched forth over their heads above. And unto the firmament were their wings straight, the one toward the other. Every one had two which covered on this side, and every one had two which covered on that side their bodies. And when they went, I heard the noise of their wings, like the noise of great waters, as the voice of the Almighty, the voice of speech, as the noise of an host. When they stood, they let down their wings. And there was a voice from the firmament that was over their heads when they stood and had let down their wings. And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it. And I saw as the colour of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it. From the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. As the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the colour of a beryl, and they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl, and they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel.